Dear Governor Kasich, I realize my letter may not matter to you. Why should it? In your eyes, I am just an insignificant worker while you are the illustrious business owner. I would like to remind you, though, that you too are now a public servant. And therefore, my thoughts should matter to you. This country was founded on the principle that the voice of the people needs to be heard. It was founded on the principle that we are not a dictatorship, we are a democracy. Governor Kasich, I believe you have stopped listening and started dictating. Unions give an equal voice to the management and the workers. Unions are based on the fundamental beliefs of our country. They prevent any one side from having too much power. I am tired of hearing that unions are the problem. Two sides agreed to the terms of each and every contract. One side representing the taxpayers and one side representing the workers. What you keep propagating is the same as if, as a businessman, you agreed to the terms of a contract with another business and then publicly stated that you were forced into those terms. As workers, we did not strong-arm anyone. There is so much information out there that it is hard to find the truth amongst all of the lies. I cannot speak for all the teachers, but I can speak for myself. When I started teaching, I worked as a substitute teacher. My pay was so low I could have qualified for government assistance, but I would never have accepted it. I am not accepting it now. I have earned the salary I am given, and it is not a handout. Do I currently earn a fair wage? Yes, I believe I do. What do I do with the money I earn? I spend most of it back in the community where I live. I use it to cover the $1,200 I spend on my classroom over the course of a year. It does not leave me room for extravagant purchases, but it does cover our basic needs. Earning a decent salary does not make us greedy. When it was in our district's best interest, we willingly took a 0% raise. We too have learned how to live on less. We are not getting rich doing what we do. We are just trying to survive. Do I currently have quality health care coverage? Yes, for which I am very thankful. And despite what is being said, I do pay a percentage of the costs required to maintain my health care coverage. We have a cost-effective plan thanks to the leaders of our district and their wise decision to join a consortium which helps keep costs down for everyone. Yet, according to the rhetoric, I do not deserve quality health care even if it is a cost-effective plan. Does that opinion hold true for everyone? Will you be joining the state plan you are touting, Governor Kasich, or is your only priority to watch everything I have worked for dismembered? Do I think it is fair that I earn sick days? Yes. Each and every time a student suddenly throws up in my garbage can or wipes his or her nose with their hand and then touches their homework. And despite having sick days, I try my best to schedule all appointments on days I already have off and have been known to come into work while fighting a migraine. Why? Because planning for a substitute is twice as much work, and I would much rather be the one instructing my students. I understand that having my summers off seems unfair. However, please understand that I have spent those summers either furthering my education, working to make ends meet, or going into my classroom to get work done. When I started teaching, the majority of my summer was spent preparing. Now I'm lucky. I've gotten it down to roughly the equivalent of 4 weeks, either working in my classroom or working at home to prepare for the next school year. And despite what the public thinks, I am not getting paid for my time. I am getting a paycheck based on the days I have already worked, not as compensation for staying home. My husband, he thinks merit pay would be a good thing for me. I have a master's degree, and I am a nationally board certified teacher. I spend most evenings and weekends on schoolwork. He thinks my hard work should be rewarded. What he doesn't understand is that my classroom tends to be made up of the students who are struggling. I love them, and I love working with them, but my achievement test scores are not as high as the teacher who has the high-achieving students. So I had to explain to him how that could mean I could get paid less under a merit pay system. I had to explain to him that I could also be paid less because I teach at the elementary level, and there are more teachers out there willing to teach elementary, so I'm not as valuable. I had to explain how the more experienced I become, the more expensive I am, and that too could become a reason to get rid of me. Being a hard worker, having a master's degree, and being nationally board certified do not seem to count for much when you consider what people outside of the field consider as merit. Governor Kasich, it has taken a long time for teaching to become a respected profession. What child will want to become a teacher knowing that it is no longer valued? What you are doing is not the answer. There are other solutions. Collective bargaining is not the enemy. It is what has raised the standard of teaching and allowed it to become a profession worth entering into. I urge you to throw out Senate Bill 5 and start over. Keep bargaining, keep unions, and continue to allow decisions to stay at the local level. I understand that there may need to be some changes. We can do it together. If districts are in financial trouble, I can see why they would want the flexibility to renegotiate. So if something needs to be in place to allow individual districts to do so, I would support it. That is what is wrong with Senate Bill 5. Individual districts should be the ones to decide if more needs to be paid into insurance or if alternate pay scales need to be discussed. That would ensure that both sides have a voice and that discussions are done openly and fairly. Tenure does have a place. Teachers need to feel safe sharing their opinions. Tenure allows us to feel comfortable speaking up for what is right without fearing retaliation. But I understand why the public views it differently. Why not put something in place that keeps tenure, but alters it slightly, so if there truly is a need to remove a bad instructor, the process can be streamlined. Together, we can save money. By joining together and consolidating needs, districts could work together to save money. For example, imagine the discount if several districts agreed to purchase the same textbook. Gathering our school leaders together, giving them the opportunity to share cost-saving strategies together, and encouraging them to look for solutions together could be the first step to streamlining costs. Lastly, we need to fix the real problem. School funding in Ohio has been ruled unconstitutional. Why then has that problem not been solved? Shouldn't we figure out a solution to that problem first? This is what I see. We have determined that our funding source for our business is against the law. But instead of figuring out a way to comply with the law, we are instead going after the workers and telling them to give back everything they have worked for. How does that fix the real problem? My youngest daughter loves to come up to my classroom and help me. At home, she sets up a mock classroom and pretends to be a teacher. She makes up worksheets and quizzes, and her neighborhood friends join in. At this moment in time, I have a hard time looking at her and encouraging her dream. I have a hard time watching the little kids dressed as firemen and police officers and nurses, knowing that to encourage them to be a hero is like encouraging them to join a career where a living wage is not considered a fair wage. Governor Kasich, what we earn is just that, a living wage and nothing more. The propaganda that we are getting rich serving our communities needs to stop. Your community workers are not the problem. Please stop attacking us as a means to finding a solution.